Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Grace Holland. The story of a 30-year state employee's arrest continues to twist and turn. Harlan Frye, who was the Human Resources Director for the NC Department of Revenue, was arrested in California last week, accused of trying to meet a minor for sex. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan learned that his arrest was also caught on camera by a vigilante. Chelsea joins us now. Chelsea, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much.
What did we know about Harlan Frye's arrest prior to this video?
So we got tipped off from multiple people in the newsroom a day after he was arrested, and our WRAL Investigate team started sort of digging into court records to find out that he was or had been arrested on a child sex crime, all the way across the country in LA, and they were able to get that confirmed through, jail records and police records that it was in fact, the same Harlan Frye that happened to be the HR director for the Department of Revenue.
And so from there, how did we find this video and what does it show?
So, interestingly enough, this video was sent to us via email from this well-known sort of TikToker and YouTuber who kind of basically goes after child predators, mainly in LA County, notably in Long Beach. And he has a team of people that go online and pose as young children and engage in some conversations with whomever. This one happened to be Harlan Frye, getting on a dating app and reaching out to a boy who was posed as 15. And learning about this YouTuber, he can't contact the police ahead of time that he's doing this or work with them ahead of time, as that would be entrapment. So he starts engaging with them, and of course they're looking to meet somewhere to engage in a sexual act. And then he shows up, as he did in this video, to the hotel that Harlan told him to come to.
And you know why I'm here, right?
Yeah.
And that's when he had his camera rolling and confronted him.
So how many times have you met somebody, not nobody underage, and just somebody in general off the app?
Often. Well,
often?
When I say, I've talked to people often.
Oh, I'm talking about like
he did not know his connection to the state of North Carolina or the fact that he had been a state employee. He only had the connection by running his name and background and phone number that he had a cousin who was a former NBA player.
Okay. And so when you get that email and then you go watch this video, what was your reaction?
Oh, it was completely alarming. I mean, it was 20 minutes of this guy showing up, filming it all. Harlan was standing there in the lobby where they agreed to meet. And, this guy says, "Do you know who I am?" And Harlan said, "Yes." And he kept him talking. He kept him talking so much that he said, he likes to meet people on apps, to mentor young children, as he has done really for, 4 decades, being a youth basketball coach, all across the state of North Carolina. And as we found out yesterday, in Los Angeles. And he gets Frye, I should say, to admit to everything, to admit that he was wanting to have sex with a 15-year-old, and that he does it often. And it's interesting because he just incriminated himself on camera, which was kind of weird that he didn't just kind of stay silent and not say anything.
Right. And, let's get into who Harlan Frye is, because there's a lot of different things. You've already mentioned his family member that's in the NBA, and you mentioned that he himself did some basketball coaching. So what is his background?
Yes, so we know that he grew up in North Carolina. He's got strong ties to North Carolina A&T. He had family that went there. He subsequently went there. He was the director of basketball operations at that university for about 7 years, from 2006 to 2013. His dad, Henry Frye, is the first African-American Supreme Court justice in our state. So, I think that his family name is well known in the community. And then he's been employed by the state for 30 years, and just recently was appointed the job of HR director in April of 2022 before he then was let go one day after his arrest last week.
And have we been able to talk to Fry or any of his family about what is seen in this video, maybe an attorney?
We have not talked to Fry nor his family. We actually are in Greensboro today trying to knock on his door to see if he might be back from LA. As far as an attorney, we spoke to a local defense attorney just about what this charge means in the state of California and the penalties that he could face if convicted.
Based on what I saw in California, this is basically asking a minor to meet up, essentially for the purposes of sex. It doesn't have to be sex. It says it can be to expose your genitals, your pubic region, things like that. So it could just be a you show me yours, I'll show you mine. But that's basically what it is. It's essentially, probably an online meetup to have somebody meet up for the purposes of sexual gratification. And depending on how far that meeting goes, determines whether or not it's a misdemeanor or felony. It definitely is a registrable sex offense if he's convicted of this, whether it be the misdemeanor or the felony. He could get probation. I mean, depending on the facts of the case, his criminal record, a probationary sentence is always possible. If they proceed on the misdemeanor, he could get up to a year in jail, and he would serve that in a local jail. If he got convicted of a felony, he could get up to 4 years in state prison out in California.
All right, let's take a quick break right there, and we'll be right back. Chelsea, before the break, we were kind of covering the nuts and bolts of this, and it's a lot of ground to even cover there. But I think the biggest question in my mind is this guy, this vigilante that filmed this interaction and did all of these communications leading up to that. So what do we know about this person?
Yeah, this guy is sort of an internet sleuth. And like you said, he poses as this cyber vigilante, but he can't work with police ahead of time. But he is very well known to the Long Beach Police Department because this is what he does day in and day out.
So basically, he had contacted one of my decoy profiles, which happened to be on a gay dating app. And he contacted the account. And he was straight to the point. It was like, hey, I'm trying to meet up and have fun.
What was he asking for? What was he looking for?
Basically, his main thing, he just wanted somebody to perform sex on him, and he also wanted to do the same to the other person.
And for all intents and purposes, the decoy was posing as a 15-year-old boy.
Yes, 15-year-old boy.
You go to any of his social media pages, he's on his 200th, what he calls, takedown or confrontation. And he writes, that many of these things where he confronts these could be or charged child predators, a lot of them he follows through to seeing their conviction out. Certainly in this case, he tells us, he has to go to LA County Court on the 24th. He was subpoenaed to testify, on behalf of what he did in that video that's out there. But like I said, he can't work with police ahead of time just for the legalities around that. But, when he gets them talking enough to make an admission, he then has, whoever's operating his phone or camera call the police in hopes that he can keep that subject talking enough for the police to arrive.
Even the police, where I do some things they are actually shocked themselves at how I get these guys to open up. And that's my main thing when I approach them. I'm not mean. I make sure I let them know I'm not going to ask you for no money. Nobody's going to harm you. I just want to have an easy conversation and figure out why you're doing this, and maybe we can keep this from happening again. It's like a psychology thing. And they oh, okay, well, all he wants to do is talk. And I act like I'm their friend. And so I believe that is what makes them open up even more to just admit everything, which is incriminating to themselves.
When you say he can't work with the police ahead of time, it would be entrapment from the police side of things if they were involved with this guy, right? But
Right.
He's totally within his rights to go out there and from what we've seen on the video, Fry was completely aware that he was being filmed when he was saying this stuff, so then it becomes admissible, basically.
That's right. I mean, he's got it all on camera, and then, at the very end of the video, he then tells the police, I shouldn't have done this. I made some mistakes. So he's now admitting guilt or, having these admissions now to the police rather than just the vigilante. And, Black Biden, as he's known on the social media platforms, he's not monetized by the police or anything like that. Something that he's just independently doing on his social media profile.
Yeah, and you said earlier that he's got a team that helps him with this. I mean, it sounds like a pretty big operation he's got going. So what did he tell you about his reason for doing this? I mean, like you said, it's not like he's getting paid by the police or anything. He's just doing this and then uploading the videos and working with them when he can.
Yeah, so he says that he started this and it kind of became a passion project.
Yes, my passion basically is to make the future better and safer for kids online, because obviously, technology is the future. And a lot of these kids nowadays, they stay on these video games, they talking to these random people, even on just online. And I believe the stuff that I'm bringing out is to spread awareness, because a lot of parents have reached out to me. It's like, dude, we never knew, this stuff was actually really happening. A lot of people are so used to Catch a Predator type show where these guys just come in the house and it's like that. But no, these guys are on video games, Snapchat, Instagram, everywhere that our kids are at. And these guys are reaching out based off what they see.
He asked Harlan Frye multiple times, do you need help? Can I help you with, someone that you can talk to or a counselor? So you can see that he has a vested interest in it.
So what's going to happen with this case from here? Well,
that all depends on what a LA County judge decides on the 24th. Harlan had bonded out of jail. He had a $75,000 bond. He bonded out on the 13th, and he had a quick court appearance yesterday just for an initial court appearance, but then he's due back in court on the 24th. And, this is way early in the process to figure out how long this would take to get through the system.
All right. Well, thank you so much for breaking all of this down for us, Chelsea. And thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. It's a daily email that's waiting in your inbox every morning with local news, events, and headlines to get you ready for the day. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.